Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and Marvel's What If season finale showed the Watcher assembling the Guardians of the Multiverse to fight Ultron round after round until that genius final move of trapping him in a snow globe.
You foresaw every moment from the failed Infinity Crusher to Killmonger's betrayal and your sacrifice.
Ah yes, another schemer supreme. The Watcher joins Doctor Strange, Agatha Harkness, and Kang in the "it was this asshole all along" club. The kind of masterminds who can weave together random uh-ohs into a flawless victory. But what exactly was the Watcher's plan in all of its steps? How far back had he been planning it? And since this finale was titled "What if the Watcher broke his oath," what does that plan tell us about what consequences the Watcher will face in Marvel's future? After getting caught with his pants down in episode 7 and losing to Ultron in episode 8, the Watcher explained in the finale,
"I scoured eternity for one true hero. Then I saw the bigger picture. This mission requires a team, the perfect combination of skills and experience that alone will triumph."
That initial one true hero was probably Doctor Strange. He was one who empowered each Guardian with magical armor, and he ultimately encased this mess in a pocket dimension. But the Watcher knew that Strange could not do this alone, because even a powerful Nexus being like himself wasn't enough to beat Ultron. So that led to this lineup with the perfect combination of skills and experience. A pretty vague prerequisite that really means the personality traits and life experiences of these heroes each contributed to the recipe. So joining Strange, the Watcher adds Captain Carter, Star-Lord T'Challa, Thanos killing Gamora, Black Panther Killmonger, and Party Thor. Now, the Watcher also needed Black Widow from Ultron's home reality, but he delayed adding her to the team at first. I'll explain why in a bit. But let's start with Party Thor, who might be the most immature and inexperienced Thor in the multiverse, so why choose him? Well, notice the moment right before the Watcher deploys them.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand. Not me, I get it, but for them, maybe repeat it.
You're ready.
Yeah, see, the Watcher fully expected Thor to stupidly alert Ultron to their presence to make Ultron think he was on the offensive when actually he was on the defensive. Had he done nothing, he could have still been king of the multiverse. And he brought in Thor as just kind of a dum-dum to smash everything, to make Ultron think that he's dealing with some outmatched dopes, in order to further frustrate Ultron when he couldn't kill those dopes who are unworthy of his time. And when the Watcher grabbed Thor by surprise, Thor also contributes the key component of a severed Ultron Sentry head. Next, Captain Carter is unique among Cap variants in the multiverse in that not only is she a strong leader accustomed to being out of her temporal element, her experience traveling through portals and fighting squid monsters proves her an apt candidate for a multiversal conflict. In the heat of battle, she orders,
"Give him all you've got! Don't give him a chance to think!"
knowing that this team won't beat Ultron outright, but can distract him long enough to extract the stones. Which also explains why Star-Lord T'Challa is so crucial to this team, because he's a heist expert with sticky fingers. Scoff all you want, but it was the move Tony Stark needed to snatch his stones from Thanos in Endgame. So T'Challa snatches a soul stone early on, making Ultron get super protective of his preciouses and have a reason to chase the team back to that home reality. Next, Drax's favorite question. Why is Gamora? Well, Gamora slayed the last big bad, Thanos, and brings the Infinity Crusher to the table. Now, by the way, the Watcher decidedly did not want Tony Stark.
Not you, Stark.
Why? Well, because Stark would probably have tried to outsmart his own creation, which definitely would not have worked, and spelled doom for the rest of the team. Now, Doctor Strange said the Watcher foresaw the Infinity Crusher's failure, so why include that in the plan? Well, I think the Watcher needed to make Ultron think that the Guardians team thought it was their final goal, because notice how Ultron afterwards so smugly lectures,
"Every universe is different, each one just a fraction unique.
The Crusher was designed to destroy the stones on my world, not his."
Yeah, this misdirect was crucial, and it tells us why the Watcher sat out of most of this fight, because Ultron had no way of knowing the Watcher assembled this team. If he did know the Watcher was behind it, he wouldn't bother lecturing them about how one universe is a fraction different from the others. No one knows that better than the Watcher. Ultron clearly now thinks he's just fighting a bunch of random rookies who tripped into the multiverse, not a team perfectly recruited and coached by the multiverse's Bill Belichick. Hey, by the way, recently New Rockstars decided to do something to give back, to try to improve the world beyond producing theory videos and Easter egg videos. And we did some homework and found a really great nonprofit based in Gainesville, Florida. That's where a bunch of us here at New Rockstars, including myself, Philip, Zach, Brandon, all met and went to school. And we found an amazing team at Community Spring. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to dismantling structural poverty and spurring economic mobility at a grassroots level. They focus on providing income and building wielding power, income to meet people's needs, and power to reshape the systems that keep them down. Community Spring is one of the few organizations in the southeastern United States that addresses poverty at the root while centering the people most impacted by it. Their flagship program is a fellowship that hires the people that have been impacted by poverty while they work to address the issues contributing to poverty in their communities. And they've done really great work with COVID-19 relief and people returning from incarceration. We've talked a lot with the folks at Community Spring, and we really believe in their work. We're donating money to help them do more to fight structural poverty in Gainesville, and we would love you to join us. So click the link in the video's description to learn more about their work, and if you can, donate. And so from that turning point of the Infinity Crusher failing, Ultron now focuses on Doctor Strange, recognizing him as the key MVP who sources the protection spells for the rest, and he's not wrong. But by aiming most of his attention on Doctor Strange, Ultron gives himself blind spots. And that is where Natasha comes in, and why the Watcher delayed her arrival. See, the Watcher was eavesdropping in episode 8 when Natasha said,
Hard copies are harder to steal, easier to destroy. But code is slippery, and it never dies.
and his head turned to Natasha right as she said that. I'm sorry to play the Watcher here, but that's the moment the Watcher's plan truly began. He knew that Zola's AI virus would be needed to corrupt Ultron's AI, but he couldn't just hand over an Infinity android body from one evil code to another evil code. Also, if he brought in Natasha too early, Ultron could have gotten wise to that ace in the hole. Natasha needed to release that Zola arrow at the last second, precisely as Ultron was at his blindest, overconfident that he finally had the Guardians cornered. And now that Zola overthrows Ultron, we must enter the true endgame and why it was crucial for Killmonger to participate on this team. Because at this point, they really have just swapped out one evil code for another, right? And code is slippery, it never dies. So the Watcher needed one team member so cravenly power hungry that he's forever unable to resist his grasp for a more powerful weapon. And so enter Killmonger, a warrior that the Watcher fully expects to betray the rest, even from the beginning when he first recruited him.
Killmonger, Tony Stark's former protege and killer.
Yeah, his eyes narrowed when he called him killer. He knows what he's dealing with, and he motivates Killmonger with this Ultron Sentry head, made of vibranium like his own suit. A head with a lingering hive mind link to Ultron's corpse, and that head becomes Killmonger's fixation, his ring of power, an itch that can never fully be scratched, but a scab he keeps picking at nonetheless. Killmonger's really the perfect counterbalance to the ambitious, persistent code of Zola in his newly acquired Ultron shell. Neither of them can let these stones go, forever neutralizing the stones in this tug of war, and Strange finally realizes this.
We were never meant to win. We were here to separate the stones from the body.
And so only now does the Watcher rise from the bench and help Strange trap this threat in a pocket reality. Within the pocket reality, Strange's uncontrollable self is contained within, double layer protection that way, and now giving Strange an eternal purpose of guardianship. Now, the problem is, this is a lot of meddling for a being who seems to have a non-intervention policy, despite how inconsistently he applies it. So as the episode title asks, what does happen when the Watcher breaks his oath? I think that's gonna be the big question for season 2, and this episode gave us a bit of an answer if you're looking closely.
You can't tell me there's not another big bad lurking in the shadows, monster under the bed.
Now, Tony and Gamora came from an episode that was delayed from season 1 and pushed to season 2, and I now think this episode is being reworked to fit into season 2 and the new major threat of next season. And as Tony talks about what's on the horizon, the face of the Watcher looms into view. The Watcher's oath was with a council of Watchers who could enact the cruel penance of torturing Uatu to stare at only the most awful, heartbreaking tragedies unfold before his helpless, unblinking eyes. They could also doom him to mortality as a kind of guru that Marvel heroes seek for wisdom, but with even less power. I just think our Watcher is now on a journey toward hands-on benevolent cooperation, which might put him at odds both with his own Watchers and with their meddling rivals, the Celestials. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow and subscribe to New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Bye.